Prices are down from all-time highs across the board in pretty much every cryptocurrency's history. And right now, in a bear market, things seem very bleak and not so great. A lot of people don't see the future, don't see the realistic path forward, and are beginning to feel a bit hopeless. In today's video, I'm going to be providing you a free of charge, hopium-filled video about how Cardano, or ADA, Cardano's native token, could realistically get to a price point of $10. Now, some clarifications before we dive into this. I by no means know any better than you what actually is going to happen, but I can provide some decent speculations on how things may go and how things could get to a point where Cardano's token is not worth 50 cents, but is worth 20 times that at $10. Personally, when I first invested in Cardano, I thought, hey, this likely is going to go to $32, $1 trillion market cap, and there's no ifs or ands about it. Now, the number one thing determining the factor of success in Cardano is not only the users that are going to be using the services on Cardano, and which would then in turn benefit the native token that everything is built on, ADA. That also is pretty big. Billions of users coming in would definitely boost the price of Cardano, but also the adoption of cryptocurrency and blockchain tech in general across the globe. Meaning that yes, likely Bitcoin price and the rest of the market will have to continue on for Cardano to successfully reach that $10 mark. A lot of this is not practical or fundamental, but in the end, most of it lays on what happens fundamentally, and how long something is going to be around in the crypto space is based on how strong the fundamentals of what made it are. You may have been around for the time where Dogecoin was like number 4 or 5 spot. It was crazy. Elon Musk was all about it, and there is other things that come up and factors that pump cryptocurrencies prices and inflate them for a short term. But long term, reaching that $10 mark, I don't think is going to happen with some crazy pump and dump like economics or any kind of influencer like Elon Musk coming in and pumping the price at $10. I do think it's going to happen over a longer period of time, and also based on some fundamental things, which we'll cover now. As I mentioned earlier, in order for Cardano to get to a $10 price point, it is going to have to solve some real world problems, and it is going to have to benefit people's everyday life. Especially so, Cardano is aiming to connect the unconnected and provide digital identities to people all over the world who don't have them right now. A lot of the world doesn't even have internet. Cardano is trying to get over 1 billion users just from people who already don't have internet and onboard them not only to Prism, but a self-sovereign identity platform that is built on Cardano. That's what Prism is. And also be able to use other Cardano applications and dApps created by people all over the globe who just want to make something in a decentralized way. And that is the beauty of Cardano. It's a protocol, it's free. And a lot of this success for a $10 Cardano does come upon the fact that it has to be built on stable foundations, things that will uphold when the people building decentralized applications don't have to worry about the actual decentralization of the layer 1 Cardano's blockchain. Now, in the Cardano community and around Cardano, there's a lot of things that come up that seems like insurmountable obstacles, mostly by the people actually working on Cardano and the developers intertwined with a lot of Cardano's backend and things that are being built and things that can be built. Now, it may appear sometimes when you're looking on Twitter and social media that Cardano is just no way it's going to make it. But this is because a lot of people on Cardano and the people building here want to see an absolute success and want a thorough look into what's going on behind and what's going to push forward the next generation of dApps that will be built on Cardano to really bring on those billions of users that Cardano is aiming to do so. So in general, the path to $10 would be very well rooted in a good foundation, a good amount of decentralization, which we've already had, and we have a proof of stake mechanism for lower energy costs. Staking right now, you can do so 3 to 4%, and you don't have to lock up any tokens. You can have it in your own wallet, on a Harbor wallet. It's liquid staking, so really good attributes about that and for people to get into Cardano. But I do think the road lies somewhere in between here, because this is where we are right now. The road to Cardano does involve users being onboarded in a more simple way. Now, as I mentioned earlier, decentralized identity systems driven by Prism built on Cardano, and we're mobile built on Cardano, and also having their own blockchain to get people who don't have internet is a massive part of this onboarding process, and I do think will be a pushing factor for Cardano's success to a $10 price target. As fundamental as Cardano can be, though, the price of it isn't always going to be reflected of that, but eventually I do believe that the road will catch up to where Cardano is actually at and what it is valuated at. However, it's important to keep in mind that because Cardano is built to bank the unbanked and do more than just bring people profits who have held it early, there's going to be a little bit more time lag in the tokenomics section side of things into it actually being a supply shock, so to speak, for people who are holding Cardano. And to get that Cardano worth a lot of money, it's going to take more time just because the tokenomics are not made to produce a bunch of scarcity right off the bat. In a couple of years time, a decade or so, things will get more scarce and things will not be as easy, or not as much Cardano will be being produced and putting back into the ecosystem, or newly minted rather, the supply. But at the same time, this is a good thing. This means Cardano is not here just to, make people money, but it's actually here to solve real world problems. And if you look back at any other company, any other thing that has made a ton of money and done a bunch of successful parts or in their business or actually brought value to people, those are directly reflected into the amount of money being made by the company and the amount of value being brought. It is a very good indication that Cardano, if it brings value to a ton of people, can also bring a ton of money to a lot of the early investors' pockets, but it's going to take a little bit longer because the liquid staking is a factor. And also the tokenomics are set in a way that, hey, we're not just going to burn all of our, transaction fees. We're going to put them into a development fund and things like that. They don't really entice a huge amount of scarcity or supply shocks, but rather actual building continuation inside the ecosystem. I also want to mention there's a ton of applications being built on Cardano that do things in terms of blockchain and decentralized finance in ways that have never been done before using Cardano's tech. I do think a major part of the path forward to $10, along with bringing on billions of users and creating things that can be used by people and benefiting their everyday lives, is having people utilize the fact that Cardano is built on an extended UTXO model and bringing things in that you can't on other blockchains. Basically expanding the capabilities and using up all the capabilities that we can use here on Cardano with the tech that has been created on a fundamental level, and bring it to the user's experience by, things like no permanent loss and other great applications in DeFi that usually would scare off new users and make people run away. So to put it in a short form, Cardano's road to $10 likely is not going to be within the next year or two, but it's going to take longer than that just because of crypto markets being in slumps and dumps and pumps and really unpredictable patterns, but also the fact that in order to get billions of users on board, there's going to have to be trial and error and people making mistakes, but also people utilizing Cardano's fullest potential, and these things do take time. I know a lot of people just don't want to wait, but in reality, good things take time. Cardano's path to $10 is going to be a continuation of what's going on right now. Basically, fundamental research, good protocol tokenomics, liquid staking, and the ability to create new innovative things on top of Cardano's Layer 1 blockchain. I'm going to make another video about this topic probably, so if you want to see that one as well, just a bit different of a perspective from today's video, please consider subscribing. And anyways, it's been your friend Jack. Stake with the Jack, stake will turn passive ADA. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.